Welcome back to Any Recapped. Today we will continue with the series Black Butler. Hope you enjoy our last part. On a dark night at the Thames, an old man tells his grandchild of the Cuddy Sark tea ship when the boy sees Law's sister, Ranmao, swoop across the sky and soon after finds the floating corpse of John Stanley. The next morning, Seal arrives at the scene to find Sir Arthur and Fred. He asks to go through John's belongings but returns with Sebastian once he's told John was found with none. They also learn of a peculiar new drug going around. As usual, Fred is quite intrigued about Seal and his duty as Queen's guard dog. Earlier at Phantom Hive Manor, Ash had revealed that John worked for the Queen like Seal and was suspiciously disposed of. Under the Queen's request, Seal's to acquire a specific secret object that John had possessed, and even Seal isn't allowed to inquire about its details. Though he's moved by curiosity, Seal continues and, taking the drug as a cue, arrives at Law's den. Meanwhile, Fred investigates around town, revealing to a lady that he'll be getting married and wishes for a safe city for his coming children. Happily, the woman wishes him well, promising to tell him if she learns something about the case. Back at Law's, Seal briefs him on the situation, and Law tells him about the new rumored drug in the market by the name of Lady Bran. Immediately, Seal suspects Angela but asks Law to put a rumor out to bait the culprit in. However, as Seal leaves, it's revealed Law perhaps knows more about the object, or rather, a document. Outside, the boy hesitates to reach Fred and is blocked by Ash just as he's about to go. Ash asks him about the details of the night he found the body. While running shores, a friend hands Mayrin and Finny a Phantom Hive's company candy. When they come home, Pluto jumps onto Mayrin, causing her to bring out the candy. Tanaka immediately points out that though the wrapper is original, the candy is an opium-based drug. It's Lady Bran. That night, Sir Arthur is surprised to see Ash pays him a visit. Meanwhile, panicked, Sebastian and Seal rush towards the candy factory to investigate when Fred suddenly jumps in front of the carriage and halts them. They are immediately brought out and announce that they'll be detained for storing opium in their factory and violating the Medicines Act. Seal is shocked further when Sir Arthur arrives, detailing that his noble family crest would be taken if Seal's involvement is proven. It turns out Ash had asked Arthur to arrest Seal and Law after inquiring from the boy. Not only that, they had found Law guilty of spreading the drug and raided his place too. He had escaped. Knowing that Seal's ace is Sebastian, Arthur orders to separate him from the young noble. Seal quietly orders Sebastian to stay low until summoned. Sebastian abides, and while the two are taken in, Sebastian's brought down to the torture cells to be inquired. Sebastian's interrogated in the torture cells by Arthur, only for him to amusingly confess to his past devilish atrocities like spreading the death plague. Stating that he won't be confessing, Arthur leaves him to be tortured. Up above in the confined quarters, Seal misses Sebastian, but it's just Fred bringing him tea. Fred tells him how he labors as a tea loader and has risen up in society, becoming an investigator. He also reveals that he's aware Seal has nothing to do with drugs. Seal, however, shuts him up, saying he shouldn't meddle in his matters. Somewhere, Law meets with Pharaoh, a wealthy man, and deals to sell his underground territory to him. Law's now preparing to flee England for good and leaves for the docks where Fred stands, reminiscing the time he lost his parents, similar to Seal. Back at the torture cells, Sebastian is visited by a peculiar guest, Angela. Boring a whip, she offers Sebastian to make a contract with her instead. However, Sebastian declines, saying his thirst for consuming human souls has died, and he only wishes to consume his master. Above, Seal is frustrated with all of his pawns and not extending help to him and leaves the tower. He's called after by Fred, who reveals that he's aware of Seal's helplessness and questions why he won't ask for help. Seal comments that he does his work alone. Like him, his faithful butler rejects Angela. Upon being rejected, Angela proceeds to maniacally whip him to no avail. However, Fred unrelentingly extends his help to Seal. Nevertheless, the two join hands and escape to the city, continuing the investigation, where Fred reveals his upcoming marriage and his wish for a safe city to Seal as well. They are approached by the lady telling Fred that she found a boy with information. The two meet the little boy who had seen Ranmao and tells them about meeting Ash, showing them the candy he gave him. That's when an addict, upon seeing the drug, stumbles towards them, causing Fred to inquire about him. They are led to Pharaoh and ambush his carriage, learning about Law killing John and currently possessing the document. Seal realizes it's time to call his one hell of a butler. Sebastian fires up in time, and Seal immediately orders him to go after Law while telling Fred to stay back. Sebastian and Seal jump onto Law's escaping boat, and while Sebastian clashes with Ranmao, Seal goes to see Law. Law shows him the document, revealing that it's a seed to unleash war and invade France with the use of drugs by his queen before brandishing his weapon. As Seal hops out, Law advances to attack him, but before Sebastian can come to him, Fred comes in between, taking the fatal hit. Sebastian kills Law in time, but Fred lies, taking his last breaths. He tells Seal to keep hoping for a future with family, only for Seal to realize he's already traded it with Sebastian. He slaps Sebastian for not saving him in time and sadly looks down on Fred's limp body. On a tower, a woman sits with a sniper aiming for her targets. She is gifted with immense sniper sight, but hesitates to kill a man who has a family. That is when Sebastian appears behind her, asking if she's in for a job position. The woman is then taken to the Phantom Hive Manor as a maid and revealed to be Mei Rin. Presently at the Phantom Hive Manor, the servants happily greet Seal, but burdened with recent events, Seal is still gloomy. Trying to cheer him up, Tanaka says that he requires equanimity, peace, and the servants scatter to make the manor an ideal place for the young master to relax. Outside, while Pluto jumps around with Finny, he notices intrusion and howls. Inside, Sebastian notices the howl but proceeds to tell Seal of the French exposition, where the Queen shall be visiting the recently made Eiffel Tower. However, Seal seems to be out of it. Leaving him be, Sebastian steps out to find the manor in cahoots with the servants making a mess, while Seal reminisces the time when Fred has unrelentingly taken his side. At the table, the Phantom Hive servants discuss how the manor was before and reach Elizabeth. She tells them that before the incident, Phantom Hive Manor was full of smiles, and the servants rejoice, knowing exactly what they need to cheer Seal up. Suddenly, a dark aura surrounds the manor, and the servants rush Elizabeth inside, asking her to accompany Seal and keep him smiling. With Elizabeth gone, Sebastian turns to the three of them and says he's leaving the matters to them. In Seal's office, Elizabeth bursts in, demanding that he teaches her how to play chess, and he asks Sebastian to bring one. Sebastian plays the violin as they sit down to build the mood despite Seal objecting. However, its real reason is to mask the clash going on outside the manor. Outside, Mei Rin effectively disposes of the intruders with her excellent shots while Baldroy squats with his gun. He reminisces about his time in the forces. He had a keen sense of incoming doom, but his commander won't listen and led the troops to death. As he sat there as the sole survivor, Sebastian had come to him, offering him a place in the Phantom Hive Manor. Remembering his purpose, he smiles and shoots off the men Pharaoh sent to eliminate Seal. So Seal and Paula play inside the Phantom Hive. Servants clash outside for their master's sake, including Pluto. Finny rushes to the top, remembering how he was caged for experiments, but upon gaining immense strength, he had broken through and met Sebastian. All he wanted was freedom, and he got it at this manor. With that, he picks up huge hurdles, hurling them down at the enemies below. The three deadly Phantom Hive servants scoot the intruders away. As the clash ends, Sebastian cuts the music and the house prepares for supper. Seal reads the newspaper, thinking about Paris, the Queen, Law, and Fred, while Sebastian knows the final fight will be coming soon. With that, he leads Seal downstairs to supper, and finally, Seal has a small smile on his face. A heavily pregnant woman, Maria, rocks on a chair. She opens the door to her neighbor, finding a pile of presents at the foot of it. It reveals she's Fred's wife, and Seal, still guilty over his death, provides for her. Meanwhile, at the Phantom Hive Manor, the Phantom Hive servants rush packing for Seal's trip to Paris. He wishes to see the Queen for himself and know more about this war she's planning to wage. However, he's still struck and quite distant in thought due to Fred's death. Seal also ponders over Law's last words, where he told him how the Queen's trying to plunder the world in war and invade France with opium like she had done in China. Sebastian notices this clearly. Nevertheless, the two arrive in Paris, where the exposition is in full swing. Sebastian invites Seal to look around, and they end up before a stuffed angel, a weird monkey body with angel wings. Just as Seal dismisses it as a boar, the monkey comes to life, breaking through and almost attacking Seal. Seal bolts outside to find it exceptionally bright and suddenly notices Angela's form. Panicked, he rushes up the Eiffel Tower and into the elevator car. As he stops to breathe, he's shocked to find the Queen sitting inside with the veil on her face. Eerily, she comments that to create a change, cleansing of the filth is needed, and to bring Europe about a change, she needs to cleanse the dirt of it. Pointing at Seal, she reveals that all her dirty work was handled by the Phantom Hive house. Hence, she cleansed it first. She is behind his family's killing. Below, Sebastian comes out with a dead monkey angel and realizes that Seal is up on the tower. Meanwhile, Seal angrily confronts the Queen. That's when her veil blows away, revealing a chaste young lady. Ash then drops by revealing that, similar to her, she made a contract with an angel to be reunited with her dead husband's body, and now is pure to lead the new world. Ash is actually Angelina. With that, Ash attacks to cleanse Seal, but Sebastian finally comes. The two get into a fierce battle, and Seal orders what seems like Sebastian's final battle to kill the Queen and Ash. However, he soon asks Sebastian to stop since it draws too much attention, causing the Queen and Ash to fly away. Heading back, Sebastian questions if Seal's hesitating to avenge and if he's taking the contract lightly. That night, as Sebastian puts Seal to bed, he tells her to forget everything and have pleasant dreams. Strangely, Seal dreams of Fred telling him that he's free to live his future and create a family. Seal wakes up jostled to find Sebastian missing. In his unkempt attire, he searches around the capital and tries to get back to London, only gets scammed here and there, even scampered off a measly hotel. Alone and abandoned, Seal wanders around the port city, unaware that his manor is lit on fire by Ash, who has gained control of Pluto. That night, as Seal sleeps on the streets, a black cat watches him before hopping away. Tanaka writes down the events of the second fire of the Phantom Hive house in a journal. Completing his role as recording the Phantom Hive history, he walks away within the burnt and collapsed structure of Phantom Hive Manor. Meanwhile, Seal has managed to get on a boat to London. Surprisingly, he meets the Undertaker there, who tells him he's on his way to London since he'll have to collect a lot of souls there. The two appear on deck to find the London skyline lit with the blaze of a great fire. The cleansing has begun. That's when the Undertaker reveals that he came to warn Seal that he'll soon die. Inside London, the Red Ripper wanders around watching poor people die, and Ash's comment shows beautiful the cleansing is to the Queen at the palace, who queasily shuffles in bed. Worried, she reveals her husband's body stitched within her to be rotting. Once she refuses to be cleansed, Ash comments that she's unclean. He then leaves the palace, remarking how the humans are corrupt and leaving the Queen rotting and dying alone. Meanwhile, the ship starts turning course. Seal rushes to the captain, ordering to lend him a rowboat in exchange for his family ring. Seal has determined that his hatred for revenge gives him meaning. He must avenge. Once he's at the port, he realizes that the war law told him about has already started festering. Worried, he rushes into the blazing city of London, finding it similar to hell, with bodies sprawled everywhere. Just as debris falls upon him, Megarin jumps, saving him, and is shocked to find him. She rushes him to where Finney and Bulgeroy are trying to put Pluto, who's breathing fire onto London, out with tranquilizers. The Phantom Hive servants apologize for not guarding the manor and being about the city. Above them, Ash and Sebastian watch the group, with Sebastian commenting that Seal is no longer his master. Hearing this, Ash turns to Sebastian, offering him to join hands in his maniac cleaning, and he shall even join him as a woman, Angela, if he wishes to. Seal from below orders the servants to finish Pluto, reasoning that he's no longer Pluto and just a beast. Hearing this, Sebastian realizes that Seal is still staunch to take his revenge, and once Ash turns around, he finds Sebastian already gone off. Nevertheless, just as Bulgeroy pulls the trigger, Seal finds a horse and rushes to the palace. Strangely, he finds everyone in a trance there and heads inside to find the Queen, but once he finds her dead. Just then, time unfreezes and the palace servants surround him in suspicion of killing the Queen. Encircled, Seal embraces his end as a shot pierces him through. However, just as he collapses, the proposal of building a contract with Sebastian rings through him again, and Sebastian, apologizing for leaving suddenly, jumps in, shooting all the guards off. With that, Sebastian comments that he was busy preparing his last supper, his master. Seal then orders him to bring him to the Angel of Massacre. Sebastian rows Seal to the Tower Bridge, explaining that it's a holy bridge that Ash probably got the Queen to build for him. On its walls, many souls are etched moaning and whining, a truly unholy holy bridge. Seal wishes to see Sebastian fight Ash and is carried to the top. On the top, Ash tearfully watches the city under the fiery turmoil when he notices the Phantom Hive's presence. Seal asks him why he killed Her Majesty and receives the reply that she became unclean, stuck in the past with her husband. With that, Sebastian seats Seal down and receives his order to kill Ash as the two fiercely clash finally. Below, the Ripper moans, complaining about harvesting so many souls. When the Undertaker appears, then it's not their soul, but they are corrupted. Ripper then opens the body's cinematic records to find them blank and realizes that the soul energy is being sucked by the Tower Bridge under Ash. The soul's mist creates a symbolic crest at the tower, like the one brandished onto Seal. The mist surrounds the tower as Ash menacingly changes forms from Ash to Angela and back. Taunting, he brandishes his sword and comes at Sebastian, who's restrained by the souls, and slashes his arm off. Luckily, below, Will appears, finding the soul sealing a grave disrespect. He finally hands Ripper a worthy weapon, announcing that they shall be working overtime, and slashes the souls off the bridge. The soul's power soon withers from Sebastian, and immediately Ash tries summoning Pluto, but the beast is long gone. Annoyed and angered, he rages, throwing a shower of blades onto Seal as Sebastian covers him. Sebastian then politely asks Seal to close his eyes, for he won't like him seeing his unsightly devilish form, and Seal abides. Sebastian then transforms, and as Seal hangs from a corner pushed by a gust of energy, Sebastian asks him to hold on until he counts to 10. With that, he hails on to Ash or Angela and puts an end to the unholy angel for good. Just as the menacing mist rises, Sebastian returns to Seal, who lets go and drops into the Thames. However, Sebastian jumps after bringing Seal to the surface and watches as Ash's dead body completes the bridge. The next morning, people rush to help the victims. Soma and Agni also give a hand. A fake queen is put forward to the people, and Paula gives Elizabeth the news of the fire subsiding, but also that Seal is nowhere to be found. To make her happy, she makes a ring out of a blue flower for her since it reminds Elizabeth of Seal, but it drops into the river. Meanwhile, Seal wakes up with Sebastian rowing him somewhere. He realizes that his time has come, watching his cinematic records and the feeling of the people who cared for him. Sebastian gives him the journal in which Tanaka recorded the Phantom Hive's history, and he finds the floating flower ring in the water, putting it on before they get off on a gloomy island. There, Sebastian sits his master down and finally bows in to take his soul. This was our last part of Black Butler. Thank you for watching.